Hello, I'm Alexthehunted, and welcome to the Godzilla movie that enters the space age as we look at Invasion of the Astro-Monster, which is one of the few Godzilla movies that has a lot of ideas but not really the budget to do it. It's a very interesting movie and a lot of people's favourites, and well, here's how I think of it, here's my opinion of it, as we take a look at it, the crossover between Godzilla and Star Trek with a little bit of Doctor Who mixed in, as we look at Invasion of the Astro-Monster, or Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, or this movie has a ton of titles. Speaking of which, title card. So our movie begins in space, where we meet our main character Nick Adams, playing Nick Adams, and his best friend Fuji, as they're on their way to their newly discovered planet simply named Planet X. And we get some boring technobabble along the way. Funny thing to note, while this is the English dub of the movie, the original Japanese version, Nick Adams spoke English throughout the whole movie, and his lines weren't dubbed over. So watching the English dub, it's very clear which of the audio quality is the actual English dub and which is Nick Adams actually speaking.
What's so funny?
You should have left your sister packed in ice.
Anyway, while the crew of two talk to their command centre, we get a little chit-chat with Fuji as he tells his sister that she's not going out and seeing any boys while he's gone, because she is a woman and he is a man, and it's good old-fashioned 1960s sexism. But we soon meet her boyfriend, who is an inventor. Of really annoying things. My god, he's going to be the comic relief character, isn't he? He has invented a disc that makes a really loud noise that can be heard from miles away, and everybody hates it, yet he wonders why no one will buy it from him. Maybe because it's an invention with no purpose outside of being really, really annoying. Good sum up of his character, actually. Anyway, we get some further scenes involving Planet X discovery, and the inventor's noise annoyer actually gets bought by a mysterious woman. Not gonna lie, this movie opening is very, very slow, so I'm just gonna, just skip ahead to the bit where they land on Planet X. As they get out of the ship, they suddenly turn into dolls, and the whole thing looks like a kid's advert for like the action set for this movie. Anyway, they start to explore the planet where they suddenly run into thunder and lightning storms, and then worryingly see some footprints, meaning that they are not alone. Fuji heads back to the ship only to find out that Nick and the ship are completely gone. Or maybe he just forgot where they parked. Well, it soon turns out that the ship and Nick were taken by a mysterious talking tube that asks him to come with them. He does, entering the tube, and it goes down into a lift where we meet the Xiliens. Okay, I've seen this movie a few times now, and the Xiliens' outfits just never fail to make me chuckle because, well, just look at them. They look like early-day Doctor Who villains. So the Xiliens tell our heroes that they are in trouble because they are being menaced by a monster simply called Zero. Because the Xiliens don't have names for anything, they just have numbers. Because of course they do. Anyway, they reveal Monster Zero, and it is in fact King Ghidorah, and that he has destroyed their planet, forcing them to live underground. They've tried everything to stop him and failed, so their current plan is to stay underground with a pint and wait for this whole thing to blow over. As they watch Ghidorah attack, Ghidorah damages their hydro plant, whatever that means, which makes the Xilien leader panic, and he puts them in a timeout bubble where they can't see or hear what's going on. Anyway, after the timeout bubble has been dropped, Ghidorah has gone away, and the Xilien leader tells them that they have a plan to get rid of King Ghidorah by using Godzilla and Rodan.
King Ghidorah was driven from Earth, but only by the combined strength of Godzilla and Rodan.
And Mothra, but we don't really have the budget to show her, so we're just not going to mention her at all. The Xiliens offer a trade, Godzilla and Rodan, for the cure to all cancer. That seems like a fair trade. So the Xiliens let the two head back home to explain their needs and see if they will let them, well, take the two monsters. Their rocket takes off, which really does just look like, well, a Thunderbirds moment, like I expect the theme's going to be playing at the same time. I'm sure that's just a friendly laugh. Anyway, they land back on Earth and we get the music cue where we zoom in on the Japanese Parliament building, which makes it just sound like an evil headquarters. Like, seriously, I feel like I should add, meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom. Anyway, the Parliament discusses letting the aliens come to Earth, and we get some political debate. Oh, how much fun this is. But it turns out the Xiliens are already here, Because the annoying inventor guy goes to the building the person who bought his invention design works at, and we will see her boss as he wears a black sort of visor, basically confirming that he is an Xilien. They get the inventor to leave, so we get into some fun, exciting action. Dating! Hooray! So Fuji's sister is dating the inventor guy, and can I just say, whoever picked the English voice actor to do the inventor, he has a really high-pitched, whiny voice that just makes the inventor seem like such an annoying character, like he's an annoying child.
I'll do something. First, I've got to talk to Miss Namakawa.
He's on the same level of annoyance as the annoying kid characters in the early Gamera movies. Anyway, Nick goes off on a date with the woman that met the inventor earlier, and we cut away to later where we find out that a mysterious cottage is across the lake. However, the military are already at the lake as they have found Godzilla, right where the Xiliens said he would be. However, before they can go back to the college, an Xilien ship emerges from the lake, with dry ice and lots of it. So the next morning, basically humanity is having first contact with the Xiliens as they land to say hi, and say that they want to be our buddies and best friends and all that good stuff. 2 Xilien saucers fly off to find Godzilla and Rodan, beaming them up so they can take them to Planet X. Nick kisses his girlfriend goodbye, but she doesn't want him to go, acting all suspicious. Like she wants him to tell him something but can't. But she then drives off and the annoying inventor guy follows her. Meanwhile, the others get on the ship with the Xiliens and they show off their fancy technology, showing that their ship is controlled through thoughts, sort of like mind control. Nick pointing out that the same tech could be used to control animals, which I'm sure won't come back in any way at all. We see them head off on their way to Planet X, along with Godzilla and Rodan. But while that's going on, the inventor guy follows Nick's girlfriend back to the mysterious cottage across the lake, as it turns out that she is also an Xilien and in league with the bad guys. And as the inventor goes up to the front door, he falls through a trapdoor, hopefully to die, but we can't be that lucky. Anyway, the gang all make it to Planet X and they drop off Godzilla and Rodan. And wouldn't you know it, King Ghidorah shows up immediately after, and the gang watch as the fight begins. King Ghidorah gets in the first attack, separating Godzilla and Rodan, as the two exchange beams, while Rodan just sort of flies about and drops a rock onto Ghidorah, giving Godzilla the chance to leap attack, tackling King Ghidorah to the ground, and it's all over. Ghidorah just flies away. This fight is incredibly short, almost like it was sort of, staged. But anyway, we do get this moment out of it.
A happy moment.
So anyway, while that was going on, Nick and Fuji have run off to explore the Xilien base. And they find some females that looks just like Nick's girlfriend. He runs up to her wondering what the hell she's doing here, not thinking that some sort of mystery is going on, as all of a sudden another female, and is also identical to the other Xilien female, showing that the Xilien females are clones. And that's because... actually, we never really do get a reason why the females are all clones. Just then they get captured and questioned by the Xiliens, but they decide to just let them go with a warning, and send them on their way with the miracle cure of miracleness. They soon arrive home and waste no time playing the tape, only to find out that there's a second act twist, as it turns out the Xiliens are evil! They give the humans an ultimatum: surrender now or be destroyed, because they have control over Godzilla, Rodan and King Ghidorah. Which poses a question: if they had the tech to come to Earth and take control of the kaijus, and we saw that they can just hang around Earth unnoticed and undetected, why on earth did they do this whole be our friends, help us beat Ghidorah plan? Why couldn't they have just, skipped half of that and just gone straight to the we have the control of your monsters and we're going to unleash them onto Earth if you don't surrender to us plan? But then again, that would just be the plot to destroy all monsters. So the Xiliens give them an ultimatum. They have 24 hours to surrender or be destroyed. So with that news, the world starts to riot, which makes no sense, actually. How dare you try to destroy our world? We're going to destroy it first before you get here. So Nick goes to his girlfriend to find out that she was an Xilien. Nick tries to beg her to switch sides, and she seems to be coming round to it, only for the other Xiliens to come out of nowhere and kill her. But not before she slips something into Nick's pocket. It's actually a really tragic scene. It's very well acted, and the two characters really do seem to love each other. But they are on separate sides, which is kind of like a Romeo and Juliet sort of thing, but only Juliet just dies at the end. Oh, and there's Godzilla as well. So Nick is captured and we cut back to the space base as they try to figure out a way to fight the Xiliens. And we then get one of the most unintentionally hilarious dub lines in the whole movie. I just love this line. It's just great.
Look out the window!
So the Xiliens destroy some stuff to show off their power. and also show that they have the kaijus just sort of, well, waiting there to attack. They're suddenly sitting there like they're having a conversation. It's kind of funny, actually. But the Xiliens say that the kaiju are under their control via magnetic waves, which give the humans an idea to see if they can actually block these magnetic waves and break their control. Meanwhile, Nick and the inventor are in an Xilien prison, and they try to plan an escape, as Nick finds the note that his ex left him, which tells him that there's a noise that completely incapacitates the Xiliens, and it just so happens to be the noise that the inventor guy's buzzer makes from earlier.
What a stroke of luck!
They turn it on and the Xiliens flop about, the noise causing them great pain, and the two escape, swimming all the way back to Japan, to get to Fuji to tell them how to beat the Xiliens. However, the Xiliens have started their attack, unleashing the kaiju when we get some good old-fashioned kaiju destruction scenes. Godzilla stomping around, destroying some houses. We don't really get much city destruction scenes, more sort of like towns and residential areas. That might have been a case of the budget limitations. And we also get some of the first use of reusing footage from other films, as they basically reuse a lot of stock footage from Rodan when Rodan's attacking places. Ghidorah also joins the action, and we get most of the destroying as he's just flying around, beaming stuff and stomping into buildings. It's all good stuff. It's just a great time. It's finally good stuff in this movie after a very, very slow start and middle. While that's going on, Fuji and his team have managed to make a weapon to block the magnetic waves, and they build them on these huge tanks, which they built in less than a day, and start to drive them to the battle. However, the Xiliens start blowing them up before they can be used. But they have a plan to start broadcasting the really annoying noise to make the Xiliens go insane, and they get all the radios in the land to play the noise as loud as they can. The really annoying noise that will incapacitate anything with how annoying it is. Oh, come on, what did you expect? It's an easy joke to make. So the Xilien plans are going up in flames, quite literally, as their ships all start to catch fire. They desperately try to regain control, however the military are busy blowing up their Earth base, and they lose control of the kaiju, all three of them falling to the ground in shock. All the Xiliens' plans have now failed, and they desperately try to escape with a really, really weird line.
We'll escape! We'll escape into the future! Into that dimension we've never seen! All of you, join me in escape!
By in future, do you mean exploding? So the Xiliens are gone and the kaiju are back to normal. So what does this mean? Well, it only means one thing. They fight! Rodan and Godzilla go up against King Ghidorah and hold their own, Ghidorah blasting the two of them, but it's a very, very short final fight that ends with Rodan grabbing the back of Godzilla and flying them both into Ghidorah, the three falling down the cliff into the water, creating huge waves that destroy even more houses. The gang look over and see Ghidorah flying off. Does that mean that he won or that he lost? We don't know, we don't find out, because Godzilla and Rodan don't come back up. Our gang look over the cliff and wonder what happened to Godzilla and Rodan. But Nick is told that he is going back to Planet X to open diplomatic relations. That's right, the planet that just tried to destroy us and enslave us. We want to go back there and have them be our friends. I'm sure that'll go well. Just roll the end. And that was Invasion of the Astro-Monster, a very middle-of-the-road Godzilla movie. Not bad, but nothing special. There are some good set pieces to this, and there are definitely some good things to enjoy in this movie. However, I think it's a set of the budget that really holds this movie back, because, well, a lot of set pieces and Mothra were entirely cut from the script because they just didn't have the money for it. And that just sort of lets the movie down, because the fight scenes are very, very short, and so are some of the monster set pieces, but there's a lot of human padding which really drags in times. But that being said, there are some really good stuff. What we do get is very, very good. The characters are good and the sort of plot is good. And this is the first of the evil aliens try to take over the world with evil kaiju plotline that the Godzilla, especially the Showa era, loves to do. They do it 5 more times, I believe, after this. And it's, you know, it's a good plot, but they overdo it a lot because it's a very simple and easy plot. But you can see a lot of the rest of Godzilla movies coming from this movie. A lot of the plot details, characters, and a lot of other stuff come from this movie. And, well, you know, it's decent. It's a good middle-of-the-road movie I would recommend putting on with friends and riffing with. And with that out of the way, let's head back to the wheel, and I'll see you guys next time when I review... beast of 20,000 fathoms. I'll see you guys then.